The first edition of ThunderbirdsTember is here. So if you didn't see my last community post, I'm going to be dedicating a lot of September to talking about Thunderbirds, the franchise, mainly the 1960s TV show, because that is coming up to 60 years old at the end of this month. So I'm going to be talking about Thunderbirds pretty much nearly the whole of September because I want to, because it's my favorite TV show of all time. So to start this off, I'm going to be ranking for three Thunderbirds movies. So that's 2004, Thunderbirds 6, and then Thunderbirds R. Go. Now, if you're a Thunderbirds fan or just know a little bit about Thunderbirds, you probably know how I'm going to be ranking these movies. If you don't, grab a snack or a beverage or something, and we're just going to get straight into it. So number three is no really a big surprise. It's a 2004 film, which, yes, I do have on DVD. One of my first DVDs that I was given as a kid. So it's like 20, 21 years old. Now, this is one of these films, and I'm sure everyone has one or two of these films that you liked this film very much as a kid. You absolutely loved it. You'd play it on repeat constantly, because I know I did, from what I remember. And then, obviously, you start growing up, your palate changes, your taste change in movies and, well, everything in general, really. And you don't watch this film for a very, very, very long time. And then, maybe one day, one night, you're feeling a little bit nostalgic. You're going to whack this in your DVD player if you still got one of them, or like a Xbox or PS5, or, you whack on a streaming service and it's got it. And then you're watching it and you think, this isn't as good as I remember. And this is one of these films for me. But I have a lot of nostalgia for this film. I really, really do. Because I was pretty much of a perfect age when this came out with, the film and then the merchandise and all that, which I wish I could find, but I think it's probably up in my loft somewhere. But yeah, this film as a Thunderbirds film, I don't really think it's very good. It's not really a good film in general. I actually don't know what it has on like Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But I know it's not rated very well, no matter where you look. But we'll start off with the things that I do like. I like the Hood. I think Ben Kingsley as the Hood is a pretty good. I think was a pretty good choice. I think he's very, very good as that. It's the reason why I think that Ben Kingsley could have pulled off a very good performance as a Mandarin if he wasn't a fake one in Iron Man 3. And I like Ron Cook and Sophia Myles as both Parker and Lady Penelope. They're very much similar to their 1960s counterparts, I personally feel. And that's really about it. So I don't know why I like this film to begin with as a kid, but maybe because it was just Thunderbirds and it looked cool. Thunderbird designs actually are pretty cool as well. I in my opinion, I think they're really, really cool. But the biggest problem I have with this film, and kind of carries on with the other two that we're going to be talking about, is that the Tracy family aren't that much involved. Yes, we focus on Alan in this film in particular, but that's all we really get from the Tracy family, because this film very much follows Alan, Tintin, and Fermat, who, yeah, they're a great team in this film. They do mess the Hood up a little bit, but I just wish there was a little bit more Tracy family in this. And if this film had done well, which I found out through the 20th anniversary retrospective of this film, if the film had done well at the box office, we wouldn't have gotten a sequel and possibly a third movie as well. So it would have been a trilogy of films, which, from the sounds of it, we would have gotten more action and more development with the Tracy family as well, which is, it's a little bit of a shame. Shame we don't live on that timeline for me personally, depending on, well, it's bad, it also depends on who you ask, but yeah, this movie was, I don't know if this was a thing, but it was heavily sponsored by Ford, the Fab One, instead of it being a Rolls Royce, it's a Ford, which, I mean, not to say, like, but as an actual car, that Rolls-Royce Ford they have in this film is an actual car. Obviously, it doesn't have all the gizmos and all that, like flying and being a turning into a boat, but it does exist. But yeah, this yeah. Again, I still have a lot of nostalgia for this film. I still enjoy watching it. Yes, I recognize the flaws in this film, but I still really enjoy this film. It is I'm just very nostalgic towards it. Um, but I recognize that it is not a good film. I'm pretty sure you can recognize something's bad and still enjoy it, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that is Thunderbirds. My thoughts for Thunderbirds 2004 film. I like the hood. I like Penelope and Parker. Um, Tracy. Actually, what else do I like about this film? Obviously, the Thunderbirds designs. Um, Exploring a lot of Tracy Island, which we do get a little bit in the classic series. I know this has nothing to do with classic series, but we do this film, but it does explore quite a bit of Tracy Island, not just like all the hangars and all that, but actually the island itself, which I think is quite cool. But yeah, you can definitely tell with the hindsight that this was supposed to be a trilogy. This was the first of a trilogy. Why Potter doesn't do too well on its own. But maybe if it was setting up a sequel that was announced and possibly and would have come out, this film might be viewed a little bit better in people's eyes. But that's enough talking about the 2004 Thunderbirds film. Next up is actually the first Thunderbirds movie that I saw on a VHS tape. Any of you who know what a VHS tape, you are definitely same age as me or a little bit older. I wish I could find it and I'll actually show it to you. But I don't know where it is. But yeah, Thunderbirds 6. This is a story about Jeff Tracy asking Brains to create a Thunderbird 6 vehicle. But it mainly focuses on the maiden voyage of Skyship 1, of which Alan, Tintin, Penelope, and Parker are on. And then there's this group of very bad people. I don't know if they actually have like a name. But they're these hijackers led by Captain Foster, if that is his real name. They hijack they hijack Skyship 1 in order to get Penelope to like say some lines and then transmit as a rescue signal so that this character Black Phantom, who is the Hood's nephew or related to the Hood in some way, I mean, it very much looks like the Hood or Hood's relative anyway, because there's no way he survives that crash in Thunderbirds Argo. But it's the Hood, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is actually the Hood. But enough about speculation on Black Phantom and who he is. In order to get the Thunderbirds machines for themselves, but obviously it backfires, and then it leads to a shootout in Skyship 1, which then leads to Skyship 1 crashing onto a structure and a missile site, and it's up to international rescue to save all these people, yes, including the criminals, on Skyship 1, and they use a plane, and that plane becomes Thunderbird 6, which, I mean, like Jeff Tracy said, got tested and is a very good design, and it saved lives, so it becomes Thunderbird 6, and it actually does end off on a pretty decent note, this film, I'd say. But what to say about this film? I like Skyship 1's theme. I think that it's quite catchy and very hummable, I should say. Maybe not whistling, because I can't whistle to save my life. Actually, what else I say about all these films? They've all got very decent scores, I will say. But yeah, again, practical effects in this film are on top form, obviously, because it's a fucking film. But Thunderbirds is renowned for. Well, I will always stand by. Thunderbirds has really, really good practical effects. Especially when Skyship 1 goes crashing into the missile site itself. It is beautiful to look at. I just love I'm beginning to think that as I go on throughout this ThunderbirdsTember, I'm just going to be talking about destruction a lot. I'm a big fan of watching stuff getting blown up. What can I say? Um, but yeah, again, Tracy family on in a whole lot because this mainly focuses on again Alan, Tintin, Penelope, and Parker, which isn't really a bad thing when you focus on Penelope and Parker. They're my one of my two favorite. They're my two favorite characters in this series to begin with, which is probably going to be a video on its own as well. So that's a mini spoiler for those of you who've actually gotten this far in the video, which you have. Well done to you. Please stick around. And yeah, this is again nostalgic film for me, more nostalgic than the 2004 one. But I think what this film is best known for is when all those directors of the aircraft corporation or aircraft company, I can't remember what it's called, they're laughing their heads off at Brains' idea of building an airship. It is nightmare fuel. If you haven't seen it, it is absolute cursed, but it's so fucking funny. And this is probably what Thunderbirds is probably the best Thunderbirds meme or just GIF. If that was all those guys just absolutely laughing in this conference room, it's fucking hysterical, a little bit creepy, bit nightmare fuely, but it's fucking funny. And I think this is what this film is probably known for, and probably what Thunderbirds, one of the more memeable moments of Thunderbirds, let's say. So yeah, not really a whole lot to say on Thunderbirds 6 as I probably used to back when I was a kid. I just love this film. Very interesting plot, I will say. Very spy thrillery. So, but definitely one must have kept my attention as a kid. So yeah, but moving on to number one, this is Thunderbirds Our Go. This is basically just it's just an hour and a half long Thunderbirds episode, which I think if you're not a big fan of Thunderbirds, you can definitely see where they pad it out. I think the most two glaring scenes where you can see that is obviously the opening scene where Zero X is being assembled, but that scene is so epic, especially with the Zero X theme and just the score from Barry Gray. It held my attention a lot. Yes, this was the one I actually watched this film as a little bit older. I can't remember when the first time I watched it. I might have been like 10, maybe 11. So a long time after I'd watched the first two films that we've talked about. But I still really, really enjoyed it. And I still enjoy all three of these movies. Even with my nostalgia glasses off, but I'm going to put these back on so I can see. And the other scene is Alan's dream sequence. And I always skip this bit. I find it just weird. It's just weird. It's just a weird scene. But those are the two scenes where you could cut out Alan's dream sequence, which I imagine there's probably a cut of that somewhere online that someone's done, and trimmed out the Zero X building scene, or the assembly, I should say. Actually, no, there's like a 45-minute cut on YouTube of this film, and I watched it, and it does flow. It flows really, really well. So it does work as like an actual Thunderbirds episode, which is probably why it's probably my favorite movie. Yeah, in my head canon, this film does kind of tie in with the beginning of Captain Scarlet. I know it probably doesn't due to like lore and just Captain Scarlet being its own separate series, but they're both the Zero X. It's used the same prop. It's the same thing, possibly. We don't know. We only see the little. It's not a drone. It's like a little tractor rover thing on Mars. But yeah, again, practical effects on full display with obviously the Zero X being a big, massive prop. Looks good. And also the scene where it lands in that town, and it just completely destroys itself. Again, I don't think it looks as good as Thunderbird 16 at the end with a missile site, but it still looks so good. And you can also definitely tell this film they try to hide certain things to make it look a lot better. Like the most of the scenes with the marionettes, unless they're sitting down, it's all cut off from the waist and the head, so you can't see the wires and you can't see the feet, because walking a super marionation puppet, from when we see it in other Jerry Anderson series, doesn't look particularly good. But yeah, I just wish we saw, again, I say this about all three of these films, I just wish you saw a Tracy family more. You know, this is like an ensemble cast for Thunderbird series. So I like to see a lot more of these guys. But yeah, again, I do enjoy all these films. I know I've said that a lot probably throughout this video. Again, I'm a Thunderbirds fan. What can I say? You know, it's my favorite TV show of all time. When I get to talk about it, I will talk about it a lot. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for this video. So Thunderbirds 2004 at number 3, then Thunderbirds 6, and then Thunderbirds Are Go. If you've skipped right to the end of this video, which what the fuck are you doing? But yeah, end of the first installment of ThunderbirdsTember. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you all in the next video. But before we go, gotta make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you disliked this video, and if you like this video, check out some other content. If you like my other content, please feel free to turn that red subscribe button to grey, and I shall see you all in the next installment of ThunderbirdsTember. Goodbye.